All right, welcome back. Again, this is Appreciating Comic Book Art. This is Tony Daniels the 10th, released by Image Comics in 1997. Tony Daniels, or Daniel, was coming off of doing a run on Spawn there for a little while, or I think he was trading off issues with Greg Capullo, because they were trying to get to issue 50 on that. So he was one of the hot artists at the time, if I recall. So him coming out with his own title, where he was the creator, a co-writer of this series, was pretty impressive and pretty exciting for me. I got really big into Tony Daniel for a while, and he's doing great things right now for DC with doing the Batman stuff and whatever. But there was just something really cool about his early art. And again, this was one of those books where I thought he was really kind of taking a jump in his style and kind of finding out what he wanted to do. Now, with that being said, he did kind of push a little bit more into the anime style going forward with this book. And he since has come out of that and gone back to a little bit more of his traditional comic book style. Just a really cool kind of just layout. And if you followed his Spawn run, this was kind of a lot of the stuff he was doing in Spawn, which kind of reminds me a little bit of maybe a Greg Capullo kind of influenced him when he was working there. Not that they worked side by side per se, but just I'm sure that they talked a lot, and you could just see what Greg was doing, some of the dynamic panel layouts and all that. Speaking of Greg, when we did the Creech review, one thing that was different about that book to this book is you didn't really see a lot of the 10th in this book, whereas in the Creech you saw a lot of the Creech. So it just shows you a little bit of a different approach of how you write, how you introduce a character, visuals and all that. That's a pretty cool layout right there. I mean, really nice detail on that house setting. And I like how the girl walking is all silhouetted, so she pops out of the panel. I don't know what's going on here, but definitely a group of mean girls, that's for sure. It's an interesting panel up there on the right. I like how the cat's just strategically put in there. And again, it's the 90s. I gotta say it over and over again. You gotta love it. Love that era, love the art. That was really cool. I love how this just fades. This panel down here, the big panel here, the light, it hits certain areas of the body and of the rock formation, and it fades off into the shadow, and just the different cracks and everything just fading into the straight black. It's just something I've always really enjoyed about that style of shading, that style of lighting in a scene. And that could be monsters, heroes, whatever, but just if it's done right, it looks really cool, especially with the colors. Tony Daniel was definitely good at drawing the ladies. No doubt about that. That was a cool character introduction. Now, yeah, I do admit that the mouth there on the bottom of the page, right on the page on the right, is a little bit too open, but for what they're going for and for the eyes, it's it has the effect and it's still cool. And this was a really cool shot. I love, if you look at this face, how you're sinking the skin so much you can almost see his skull. It's kind of showing you how like old and decrepit this character is, and just gives him that a little bit more sense of evil. It's a little bit more exaggerated, but it's got a really, really cool appeal, especially when it's the first time you see the villain's face. There are actually a lot of different villain / monsters in this book, in this whole series. And Tony Daniel had really good designs on a lot of them. This Kill Crow. I really love how those crows just kind of all mass into this dark. There's a little bit of splatter effect you can see with the inks up there. I really like how your eyes can go through this page very well, from left to right and down. yeah, I think he did a really good job with this book for stepping out on his own for the first time that I know of, on his own character, and just putting it out there, and having for the first time being free to do whatever he wanted to do. And you can tell that it's very free. It's one of the things with a lot of artists, when you see them work on their own books, you tend to see a freeness to their pencils and to their work, to their layouts, to their storytelling. And regardless if it's the best storytelling in the world or not, that's neither here nor there, is we are specifically looking at the art. How does it appeal to the eye? Does it bring you into the story? Does it make you want to look at more? That's all that really matters. This is actually really cool in the story where the 10th, through his eyes, always saw a messed up world or version of the world. So it might be a little confusing there, but part of it is normal and part of it's all, screwed up. Really cool shot of the building right there. I love the light source in this panel. It seems like it could be simple to someone who doesn't know, but to me, I think that's a little bit harder to do, to put those shadows in the right spot, falling off of the light coming from the outside. And yeah, there's a lot of silhouettes going on in there, but that light just hits a certain way and it has to fall a certain way. And if you do it wrong, it's gonna look weird, but that looks really well done. Another hot chick. Why not? So again, this book really didn't have a lot of action in it, but honestly, I realized that now. This is the first time I've looked at a lot of these books in this series in years, and so it's almost like looking at it for the first time. But I never really noticed that when I was a kid, because I was just, as an artist and being a young artist at the time, I really only cared about the art. So the story could be, good or bad. It didn't really matter to me as long as the art pulled me in, whether there was action or if it was just more storytelling. If the art was appealing, and no matter what scene it was doing, that was all I really needed. That's a really cool shot. And you can actually go online and Google the 10th. You can find a lot of really cool art by Tony Daniel in this period of time. And it's just something special about his pencils back in the 90s. And he's a great artist, and he's doing great things now, and I highly recommend you checking out his stuff at DC. I think his art is even taking giant leaps forward in what he's producing now. It's always cool. Darkness. And this is a really cool preview for issue 2 coming up, and I love how they just have the black and white, no colors. Again, it'd be awesome if I could find a version of this book that was just black and white. I don't know if they ever did that or not, but if you know, let me know. Leave a link in the comments if you can find it. But yeah, there you go. So that's the 10th by Tony Daniel. If you like this video, please give it a like. Subscribe if you have a chance. Share it. And as always, I'll talk to you later.